Hey guys, welcome back to Sounds Like a You Problem podcast. I'm your host Daisy, and I'm so excited to be here for episode 10. We've already got 10 episodes down. That feels like a little bit of an accomplishment. Posting twice a week has been challenging, and I don't think that I get as much exposure as quickly as I would if I posted once a week, because more people are able to keep up with one episode of a podcast per week. But, however, in conclusion, therefore, I'm still excited, okay? Because I'm excited that I'm holding myself accountable. I'm excited that I'm here to share so many messages. I'm excited that every time I post a new video, I get inspired about the next topic that I want to cover. And I'm just here as your big sis to teach you and tell you about things that I didn't have anyone to teach or tell me about growing up, and that I think is important. And if we expose ourselves to this knowledge prior to a problem arising, we can save ourselves a lot of trouble. Okay, so that's the whole premise of this podcast, is like basically telling my younger self what I needed to hear when I was younger. I didn't have a big sister, and my mom wasn't present in my life, so this is just kind of, me being a big sis to myself and also to you. Another thing, if you're watching me on YouTube, it absolutely drives me nuts how much I play with my hair, and I didn't realize I did that until I was watching myself back. So I don't know, I had my hair in a ponytail, and I hate that. It drives me nuts. Now I've got like my bangs pinned back, hoping that I won't play with my hair throughout this episode. My third grade teacher was so mean to me, but she used to wear her hair like this, and I always just thought she was so beautiful. That's not important, but that's just a side note. We are talking today, okay, about medication and why it's okay. All right? Let's end this right here, right now. Not everyone is built the same. Not everyone's chemicals are at the same level. Things happen in your life as well. So you could either be born that way, or a physical or mental effect takes place, and again, maybe you're born with a certain condition, or maybe you survived a very traumatic experience, or maybe that's just what happened, so the levels in your brain just aren't the same. And there's such a stigma around taking medication and mental health, because people are just, that don't have it, don't understand it. Their life is normal. Their life is a lot easier to maintain and manage, okay? And so it feels weak and off-putting, and like you are very shamed for accepting to take medication if you need it for a mental health disorder. We have come a long way when it comes to mental health order diagnoses. Not nearly as far as we should be, but we have, and so we need to recognize that, and we need to put a little bit more faith into it and talk about it. We need to be open about it, and we need to discuss this, because the stigma about this making you weak is disgusting. Like, it is repulsive to think that it's not fair that you get to have a normal brain and something happened to me, or I was just born a certain way that left me to have to struggle and fend for myself and have a more difficult time processing things or doing things or experiencing things, and I have to endure that and suffer through it, and you get to just live your life normal, and you can't understand or even be empathetic or sympathize with me because your life worked out in a way where you don't need this aid. Okay? It's like saying that a blood pressure medicine it makes you weak to take it. Not everyone can regulate their blood pressure. It just happens in some people. Are there ways that you could change your diet and your lifestyle? Yeah, but sometimes you're just predisposed to conditions, or you're born a certain way. What if a person is born without the ability to lose their legs, and you tell them that they were weak for using a wheelchair? That they should be on crutches for their whole life? Or that they're weak for using crutches? What are they supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? So how does a medication or an aid that helps me live my life in a way that you do, that's more accessible, that's more normal and easier, how does that make me weak? It doesn't. And so I just wanted to break that down, because it doesn't make you any less of a human, and to regulate your levels with an aid doesn't make you weak, and it's just a barrier. It's just not logical, okay? We have to break that down. Navigating tough situations or emotions and being incapable of that or struggling with it is just harder, and it's not fair. We need to try to level the playing field at least a little bit, because God help me, it is so hard just to be a human. Can we just take a minute? It is so hard just to be a human. And I want you to know that we all feel that way. I feel that way. My boyfriend feels that way. My sister struggles. It is so hard to be a human. Maybe it was easier, or maybe it was harder back in the day. I don't know. We don't know, because all we know is what we're experiencing. But what I can tell you is that we're all experiencing it, and it is hard. It is mentally hard, it is physically hard, it is emotionally hard, it is draining, it is suffocating, it is scary, it's downright terrifying to be in this world right now. So it is hard, literally, just to human, just to go to the grocery store, just to watch the news, just to try to prepare yourself for safety and to keep your family safe. Like, in so many aspects, it is just hard. It's giving me a headache talking about it. When you are able to medicate yourself for something that you're struggling with, you are able to recognize, and you should recognize, that you are putting your health, mental or physical or emotional, first and making it a top priority. And that is strong. That's brave, because it's hard, right? Like, doctor's office and visits can be intimidating. They can be new experiences. Maybe you've had a bad experience. Maybe you don't know how to navigate it. Maybe you didn't have a mom or a sister or a cousin or a brother or someone to call on what the steps of the process is. It's foreign to you. It's new. So it can be intimidating. It can be anxiety inducing, because it is a new experience. And sometimes when it's a new experience, you're not sure how to act or behave or what's coming next, and that can be frightening. It can scare you a little bit, and you are so strong for getting help, but you're even stronger for acknowledging that you need help. Like, acknowledging the problem is hard. Like, 80% of the population, over 80% I think it is not even self-aware. So you're already in like a very a very small tier of people who are self-aware. So congratulations. That's amazing. I'm not being facetious, okay? And over 50% of people will experience a mental health disorder in their lifetime. Like, it is so much more common than it is recognized to be. And they could be born with it. They could be diagnosed at 8 years old, like I was with general anxiety disorder and depression, or you could be diagnosed after a random emergency surgery that you had with a panic attack disorder, like me. Like, diagnoses don't come in they come in different shapes and forms and sizes, and obviously they can be different. My sister suffers from bipolar disorder. That's not something I suffer from. My mom also suffers from that. I suffer from vertigo. And the medication that I take for my anxiety actually helps me with my vertigo, which is super nice and super just amazing. And it's like that it helps two problems at once, because I put my mental health as a top priority. And vertigo was not something that I struggled with to where it was like debilitating my life, like my panic attacks were. So to just get a second bonus, like, just another pro. It's just another pro, right? And then again, you trust yourself and you're happy and proud of yourself for putting your mental health first. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Like, now I have monthly psychiatrist visits, and that's just part of my routine. And I go to the pharmacy and pick up my prescription. And I remember the first time I was really intimidated, because I was like, wow, I live in such a rough part of St. Louis. Like, I bet this pharmacist is judging me for the medication that I'm on and probably thinks like I'm abusing it or something like that. And I got to the point, I'm like, no, I struggle. I am diagnosed. I have a problem. I have a history with addiction. That's not where we're at in my story now. I am safely and responsibly medicating myself, and I feel so normal. The first day that I found the right medication, I almost cried, because I didn't realize how hard I had been fighting every single day to feel normal. And when I tell you, I'm getting emotional now, because it makes me sad for the girl who thought that she would be weak or be less than or couldn't take medication because it would say something about her character that would be something that people couldn't look at up to as much. Like, I thought that it was going to basically I thought my character development and the way that I was perceived was going to take a hit, and the way that people could trust me was going to take a hit just for being medicated. And when I tried this medication, and it made me feel so normal, and I had to go through one that was awful. I had my fair experience with trying some medications that didn't work out, and that was not fun. And it felt, in that moment and in that process, it felt just really draining and really just like disheartening. Like, I'm never gonna find the right thing. And then I did, because I kept trying. I kept going. Remember, failure doesn't exist. It's just rerouting you. So I didn't fail at finding a medication that helped me. I just got rerouted to find one that helps me even more, that I'm even more comfortable taking, that I don't have any side effects from, and that also aids in my vertigo spells, which is like the best of the best, because I kept going. Because if you don't try, you won't know. So if you haven't listened to that episode 9, Failure Doesn't Exist, you should. Putting yourself first, which I have a self-care episode, I believe it's episode 8. You should listen to that, because To put yourself and prioritize yourself first for overall health and well-being is so important, and the prevention and relief of symptoms is fair. It's a human right. You are allowed this. You are so allowed, okay? This just gives you a better chance. You don't have to be weighed down by these things that other people aren't weighed down by. So you can show up in a way that you can show up with so much more energy because you're not fighting just to have an even playing field by others who aren't weighed down by the differences that you face. Just like someone who doesn't have ability to use their legs is in a wheelchair. That's to help them get around, like people with accessible legs are able to get around. And I don't know why I'm using that example specifically, but it's just like you would never shame someone who's using a wheelchair because they were born without the ability to use their legs. But I'm sure that it feels stigmatized and disheartening for them to see, for them to be seen in a wheelchair. Probably not everyone, and I don't know. And I don't have experience with this, so I'm not trying to come off as offensive in any way, shape, or form. I'm just trying to make a metaphor for you guys to understand that, like, just because it's not a physical ailment that you can see because it's emotional and mental, doesn't mean that we don't deserve to have an aid to help us make things easier and make things more normal for us. Improving your quality of life is something to be proud of. Like I said, doctor's offices and official adult things can be intimidating because they're new to us, but once you do it and you successfully do it, you realize that it's so much easier, and you made it. You made it out alive. Here you are. And now it's going to be easier the next time and the next time and the next time. And then now you can help your friends and you can help your family and you can give advice and you can tell people how you did it and you can be proud of it because it wasn't as hard as you thought it was. And then now you're able to manage yourself and your health and your life better, okay? So end the fucking stigma. Taking mental health medications is so ridiculously downplayed. Like, for someone to tell you that you are weak just for trying to better your health, they've got issues, and I hope that they get help, okay? Because if you don't get help for something like this, or you allow these other people to put you in a box and put these words and these judgments and these restrictions on you for if you choose to do something healthily and responsibly and in the proper way that we're supposed to, and you allow people to make you feel that way, then that's a you problem. Okay, and you've got to overcome this. I want you to be the best version of yourself, and I want life to be easy for you, and I want it to be beautiful, and I want it to be accessible, and I want you to know that it is okay to take medication. I love you all so much. If you're struggling with a mental health disorder, you are not alone. And there are so many more people out there that don't even realize they're struggling or think that they are so alone, and you are not. And it's challenging, and it can be tough to navigate. I understand. But wouldn't it be so nice to treat yourself in a way that you deserve? To help convince yourself that medication could make your life easier? I think that that's fair. Again, I just want to reiterate, you're not alone. And this doesn't have to be the end-all be-all. And you are strong, and you are courageous, and you are brave, and you are capable of getting help, and you deserve to get help. Okay? If I could just ask you to do one thing, it would be make one step in the direction of educating yourself on a medication you might need, or calling a doctor's office, or refilling a prescription, or whatever it might be if you know that you are diagnosed with something and the medication could help you, and you've expressed all other avenues. Therapy worked for me until it didn't work for me, and I tried everything that I could until I resulted in medication, and if I had just tried medication sooner, life would have been so much more normal for me. If you're watching this on YouTube, please give it a thumbs up, maybe subscribe if you're into this kind of thing, or if you want to listen to me on Spotify, a 5-star review rating would mean the world to me. It helps me out so much, and it helps this message get to more people, guys, and that's what I want to do. I just want to spread positivity and self-growth and self-improvement and self-help and motivation and inspiration to as many people as I can. So if you enjoyed this episode or you enjoyed any of my episodes, please do that for me, and I will see you guys, or you will all hear me in the next episode of Sounds Like a You Problem.